MMA is one of the most cutthroat industries out there. Fighters are constantly being dropped because of poor performances. UFC is at the top of the food chain when it comes to MMA leagues. It takes just 3 consecutive losses to cut fighters loose. Though that isn't the only way you can lose your job in the promotion. Many have been known for having their contracts ripped up because of drug violations and a lot of other infractions. Let's take a deeper look into some of the wildest ones. Starting with number 8, Paul Semtex Daly. One of the UFC's most powerful and talented strikers in the mixed martial arts world has got to be Paul Semtex Daly. He started his professional MMA career back in 2003 and has been able to deliver straight knockouts in almost every match he's been in. The star athlete has a pretty brutal way of winning. He's one of the biggest representatives of a whole new breed of strikers that are starting in modern-day MMA. The fighter has been able to knock out some of the world's best martial artists in the 170-pound range. Some famous names he's fought against include Martin Kampmann, Dustin Hazlett, Dwayne Ludwig, and many others. Daly was on his way to being one of the best rising stars back in 2010, but Dana White was furious with him following an incident taking place in Montreal during UFC 113, which ended with him getting banned. The athlete ended up sucker punching his opponent, Josh Koscheck, as he lost the welterweight bout. White stayed true to his word and has not allowed him back to fight in the promotion since. In an interview, White further said that he doesn't care if the fighter plays in every show all around the globe and turns into the best in MMA. No matter what, he's never going to participate in the UFC again. Daly is currently fighting in Bellator and has a career record of 42-17-2. Similarly, at number 7, Rousimar Palhares. Rousimar Palhares is a world-class grappler who's gotten most of his training from Team Nogueira and the Brazilian top team. The fighter has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu after having trained under the famous former UFC middleweight champion Mario Bustamante. Not just that, but he also has a black belt in a form of submission wrestling called luta livre. Both of these combined got him a total of 14 victories, out of which 11 were finished with 10 submissions. Similar to Daly, he was also told that he'd never fight in the UFC again since he had started to behave in a very unsportsmanlike manner. The Brazilian grappler had a habit of not releasing fighters even after they had tapped out after submission. His first suspension came in 2010 during UFC 111 when he refused to let go of his opponent, Tomas Drawl, out of a heel hook. The move that got him permanently banned was in 2013 when he submitted Mike Pierce in 31 seconds but just wouldn't let go. Dana White immediately cut him off and banned him from all future events. He said that this was the second time an incident like this had happened with Palhares, where he wouldn't let this lock loose. When he was asked if he could ever come back in the future, White just said that he was done. Coming up at number 6, Matt Riddle. The American professional wrestler Matthew Thomas signed up with WWE after he retired from mixed martial arts. He's famously known for his work with the wrestling platform as Matt Riddle, or just Riddle. Riddle won the Raw Tag Team Championships alongside Randy Orton as RK Bro twice. Riddle ended up having a 4-win streak during his time in the UFC right before he tested positive for 2 drug tests that brought his career with the promotion to an end. While he might not have been officially banned, White said that he's never coming back. White continued to say that everyone's probably going to have excuses as to why they're now cut. Matt, in an interview before a fight, said that he smokes weed so that he doesn't beat his children up, and then tested positive for drug usage. After the fighter retired from MMA, he started training to become a wrestler, and ended up wrestling for quite a few independent promotions and won championships. Moreover, at number 5, Ruslan Magomedov. The Russian mixed martial artist Ruslan Magomedov is known for his skills in the heavyweight division and has been ranked at number 9 in ACA's heavyweight rankings. He's the first fighter from the UFC to get banned for life straight from USADA after not going clean and getting a 3rd anti-doping violation in February of 2019. He was given a life ban from UFC UFC because of multiple violations of the same kind. In 2016, with his first sanction, he got a 2-year ban as he tested positive for an androgen receptor modulator, which is a drug designed to help muscle growth. His second offense took place in October of 2018, as he again tested positive for 2 steroid metabolites, and his final one came in February just the year after, when he simply refused to give a sample. Additionally, at number 4, Jason High. High is an American mixed martial artist who just recently fought in the lightweight division of the PFL, which is the Professional Fighters League. Jason has been competing professionally since 2005 and has competed for Strikeforce, Affliction, Titan FC, the World Series of Fighting, Dream, and the UFC. Despite that, Dana White does not tolerate infractions of any kind after the bell or altercations with referees, the latter being why Jason got banned. The fighter ended up pushing referee Kevin Mulhall after he disagreed with a TKO stoppage during his fight against Rafael Dos Anjos back in 2014. White further said that you never touch a referee, ever, no matter what, that the fighter is done here, and despite him apologizing on Twitter, he's done. Up next at number 3, Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva has made a truly impressive pro record of 9-0 and has 8 stoppages before his UFC debut in 2007. He has a reputation as a fearless Brazilian striker who's from the streets of Sao Paulo. His UFC career started after he defeated James Irvin, Tomás Droll, Houston Alexander, and Antonio Mendes, all with punches. Many believed that the fighter was destined to wear the championship belt. Unfortunately, though, his dreams were stomped on by Lyoto Machida with a knockout at UFC 94 that took place in January of 2009 with a first-round knockout. Before his loss, the fighter had remained undefeated in his 13-fight career. Silva was cut from the UFC because of a serious incident in Florida, where he allegedly threatened his wife with a gun. The whole event ended with him having a 4-hour standoff with a SWAT team before he finally surrendered. Following his arrest, White said he would never fight for them again, specifically due to this incident. While all charges against him were later dropped, he still was never called. Moving on to number 2, BJ Penn. J.D. Penn III, better known as BJ Penn, is another former All-American pro mixed martial artist who's also a master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He fought in both the UFC and K1 and was also the gold medalist from the US in the World Jiu-Jitsu Championship. The former lightweight champion is somewhat of a legend in UFC history. He's also done a lot for the popularity of the sport and used to fight for the promotion starting from 2001, though he should indeed have long been retired, as he ended up losing his last 7 fights, not having won any since 2010. Videos started coming out of the 41-year-old fighter being involved in a street fight out in Hawaii. That's where White drew the line. He straight up said that he won't be fighting again, and that's a wrap for him with the UFC. Though admittedly, he didn't support him continuing to fight with the relationship both of them share. It was hard to turn him down. After what White saw in the video, he believes that BJ needs to focus more on his personal life, at least before he decides to fight again. Finally, at number 1, Wanderlei Silva. The Brazilian-American Wanderlei Silva is a former MMA fighter who's known for his wins at Japan's Pride Fighting Championships and in the UFC, with him holding the record for most wins, knockouts, title defenses, and the longest winning streak in Pride history. Though he was banned for life by the Nevada State Athletic Commission after he ran away from a random drug test back in 2014. White said that literally no one has ever tried to run away from a drug test before. While he wouldn't have gotten a life ban if he tested positive, he's now in a much more serious situation in which no one would ever let him fight. The star won't be going to the Hall of Fame anymore, and despite his ban eventually getting overturned, his comments on the UFC and fight fixing were why he got cut loose, and probably won't ever make it back. That's a wrap for this video. Which fighter do you think deserved it the most? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.